Hi, this is Robert Plinick, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. I'm doing a leg workout today and I'm combining some abs with it. I thought this might be a neat chance to explain a concept that I really enjoy using for myself and for clients. And the concept of that is when we're doing heavy squats, and you can see I'm doing our Duffalo bar here, and I'm working my way up, supersetting it with band standing crunches. So the idea is to superset abs with a heavy compound movement such as squats and deadlifts. The idea of that is by doing the ab exercise, you're actually engaging the bracing muscles of the core, which you're then going to use during the heavy compound movement, squat and deadlift. So it'll actually help activate those muscles, have them prepared and ready when you do the bigger lifts. It'll also give you a chance to feel those muscles better in the big lifts, to learn how to fire them, how to kind of use them for your advantage. So if people have trouble feeling their ab tightness or core tightness in big lifts, superset the big lift with some ab exercises. Also, this is just a great way to use the rest period in between the big lifts for something still productive. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. The first exercise is the ab exercise, and I'm doing what I would just call like band fallouts. And this is almost like a standing crunch, but I'm going to be forward in my toes. That creates instability. So it's a great way to train the abs and just fire off more muscles. So I'm going to take the bands, put them under my elbows, and put my arms over top. And now I'll lean back, and I'm going to lean into the bands and be on my toes. Good, and now I'll do crunches. So, by being on my toes, it creates instability and fires off more of the ab muscles. And I like kind of this idea because it's by being forward on your toes, leaning into the bands. If you go too fast or too slow, it messes up the balance, and it kind of creates an environment where you can't use momentum. So it's a very strict, really cool way to do abs. And then what I'm pairing this with is my squats, and I'll show you that. I'm still warming up in weight, but I'll show you just a nice deep squat. So I'm using our Duffalo bar. I'm using the wide handles you'll see in a second, just for more thoracic positioning. So it translates over to holding a good upper body position for regular squats and deadlifts. And then I'm doing high bar with a long range of motion to get a lot of work on my thighs for a lot of growth. So this has a strength component in the thoracic spine, development and postural support, but then also a growth effect in the big range of motion. So that's a neat squat variation. You can see again on the handles on the bar, they're just these low handles here, right here. And they're typically used for like bands. You can see it on this side too, probably a little clear. They're typically used for bands. I actually like using those handles because it requires a lot more thoracic spine strength. But that's a great way, a great exercise to combine a strength training component, the postural effect, with a growth component of the range of motion in a high bar. So that way, not only can I be strong, but I can also be big. So that's the best thing. Okay, so that's the combination I'm doing today is ab exercise before my squat and deadlift kind of stuff. Great way to activate the core, get it activated in the big lift, and then also learn how to activate it in the big lift. So that's today's tip. Give that a try. Thank you. Hi, this is Robert Plenick, the owner of Brittle Iron Gym. Today I'm doing some heavy squats, and I also made a video discussing the benefits of training ab exercises supersetted with heavy exercises such as squats and deadlifts. One of the main benefits of that type of superset is it activates the core muscles in the ab exercise that you would then be using for the heavier lift. So not only are those muscles more ready to be used, but they also will be able to give you a better mind-muscle connection because the muscles are already kind of firing and being used. Therefore, you can feel them better when doing a larger lift. So what I wanted to follow that up with was how to properly brace your pelvic floor and your abs for a nice tight core on heavy lifts. So one of the things that people in the gym will often hear me tell my clients is hold your pee. Very odd sounding statement, but what it refers to is if we all do, follow along with me while I'm explaining this, but mimic the sensation of holding your pee, of stopping yourself from peeing. So mimic that sensation, and you'll feel that that tightens up muscles down in the pelvic floor. You then want to take the space between your belly button and your groin and try to pull that part of the abdomen inward. It does not mean that you want to hollow yourself out. You just want to have a sensation of holding the pee and then pulling this part in. Another way I explain it is if I put my fingers, just a little bit of gap between my fingers on my belly, I can push my stomach out and that spreads the gap, or I can pull my stomach in and that will touch my fingers together. So again, just a little bit of a gap, pull your stomach in and you'll feel that touches the fingers. So you want to hold the pee, pull the lower belly in, and that'll brace your core muscles. So that way when you squat, you're more likely to stay in a nice straight position in your spine rather than arching or rounding over. So that's a quick tip you can add when doing heavy squats and deadlifts is hold the pee, belly in. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a set of squats, and you can just, you're not going to be able to see me doing it, but know that I am doing it. And then by doing that, it's allowing me to do this lift correctly. So let's go ahead and watch. And again, what I'm doing here is a really just low pause squat. So you'll see me pause at the bottom. And what I'm trying to prevent is the heavy weight from rounding me over. And I don't want my upper body to round over, but I also don't want my lower back to arch. I just want to stay in a nice, straight, neutral position. I will be tilted forward because of the weight distribution on my upper back, but I don't want to arch, and I don't want to round over. So I'm going to be using those cues, hold the pee, and belly in. Let's go ahead and see. Okay. So that was pretty successful. Didn't get rounded over, didn't arch, everything stayed nice and tight. So that's some tips to try. Hold the pee, belly in. Okay, thanks for watching.